Hey everybody, welcome to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium, and today we're talking about the promise or concept of a Zelda mobile game and what it would look like.
Yeah, Nintendo recently put out that they're like, in the future we might not even have to make consoles anymore, and they put out some stats about some of the games they put out on mobile, and like they got a Fire Emblem game, did over like 230 million or something, and that what's that other game that I never even heard of?
Dragalia Lost, I think it was, right?
Never even heard about it.
Animal Crossing did well.
Yeah, it did 50 million for a game.
I do want to calm everyone down. They didn't say specifically like we're gonna stop making consoles.
Oh, yeah.
It was we just want to expand our reach into other, because they also mentioned theme parks and movies, and
Right.
they're just like, we're not married to consoles.
Right.
But it was an indication to us that it's like they're also probably married to the idea of continuing to make mobile games.
Right. Yeah.
So Zelda seems like an obvious one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of their premier franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, although they've kind of gone in like they put out Pokemon, Mario, probably their 1 and 2 biggest franchises.
Right. Mario Kart is allegedly coming this year, I think, too.
Yeah, and that has a lot of mainstream appeal too.
Right.
Zelda is probably their biggest franchise that they haven't done anything with.
Yeah.
And it's more of a core franchise than a casual franchise. Everybody's played Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's played Super Mario at some iteration. The biggest challenge, I think, with Zelda is the buttons. Because
Oh, sure.
Zelda, when you think about Breath of the Wild, there's like 74 buttons on that thing with all the different combinations, and it's like kind of overwhelming. You always forget what button you need to press. Regularly happens to me.
Right.
Now, granted, they've had more simplistic games like The Legend of Zelda or like the Minish Cap or something that only have 3 or 4 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
But with mobile, we're dealing with 0 buttons, which they've also done that with games like Phantom Hourglass with a stylus.
Right. But I think we've mentioned that before, where it's like that type of game is maybe still a little too fast-paced to like input those type of motions, right?
Right, with your finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do a little bit of in like Animal Crossing, but it's like you don't have to like twitch react to a lot of stuff like you do in Phantom Hourglass.
Right. So what kind of Zelda game do you think they could put on mobile?
So staff member, host of the Champions Cast, Andy Spiteri, he's often mentioned the Stranger Things game on mobile, which he says is just like A Link to the Past. I've never played it, but he said they just made like an A Link to the Past kind of game with those kind of controls on mobile. I don't actually think they're going to do that kind of game. Do you?
I'm not sure. I think it would feel... So is there... I don't know how that game plays, but I'm thinking you can like just sort of put a D-pad on the overlay.
Yeah.
And just literally just move around. Like there's just touch buttons that move your character.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Sonic 2 when they ported it to mobile, and a lot of games do this where it's just you got the normal game screen, but then all the buttons are just right there on top of it, and you're blocking part of your view, but it's
right. It's just part of the.
It's Sonic. You're just running to the right. What can you do?
They could definitely make that work, and clearly other games have gone that method. I feel it would be weird a little bit. The challenge with dealing with mobile is you're dealing with so many different types of screens too. And so, it's one thing with like Apple is pretty universal, but like the Samsung and LG phones, like there's a lot of diversity in terms of the size and whatnot.
How you would hold it.
Right. Like my initial thought was, well, Nintendo could put this game out and be like, yeah, you can play with the, just by touching buttons on the screen. Mm-hmm. But then, maybe like GameStop will sell like a small peripheral with the game pre-downloaded or something, and like this just wraps right onto your Galaxy or your iPhone. But the amount of them they'd have to make, for the different models and whatnot.
It's less accessible.
Yeah, that goes totally away from the whole point of it.
Nintendo, I think they're very good at taking advantage of like the console they're on. We talked about the DS games; they're like perfect for that console.
Right.
I think they will make a game for Zelda that is like, it's not going to be like any Zelda we've seen, and it's going to like take more advantage of how you interact with touch devices.
Okay.
I think I've mentioned it before, but I think it might be kind of... Did you play Captain Toad's Treasure Trackers?
I did, yes.
I think it'll be a game like that, where it's maybe a simple world. It's like a puzzle-based game. There's a little bit of running away from stuff in combat, but there's not... You don't fight anything, really.
Okay.
And I can imagine you, like, swinging around the world, you know, moving around the camera by touching it and touching where you want to go and stuff like that. So I see it more of like a simplistic puzzle game.
Okay.
That's a Zelda themed.
So are you thinking it will end up being more of a spin-off title? Or are people going to be thinking of it as a major series game that came out on mobile?
Definitely. I mean, I definitely would see it, no matter what. I could see it having, you know, you could play as Link and stuff like that, but them presenting it more as like a, you know, a Triforce Heroes type game.
Okay.
Just like Mario Run. Nobody thinks of Mario. It's like, what are your favorite Mario games? No one's like, well, Mario Brothers World, you know, Mario 64, Mario Run, you know.
Right.
And no one expected it to be like that.
Okay.
I think they can do that with Zelda, or, you know, just be like, yeah, this is just a fun little side adventure that Link got involved in, you know?
Yeah, I suppose they could do that. For some reason, my mind is going elsewhere. It's not like I'm thinking they're trying to take like that 2D style of game that's kind of gone away, where they haven't done one in a long time. Mm-hmm. Like a Minish Cap, you know, that was 15 years ago almost.
Yeah.
And almost do a game like that, of that scope, of that size, and it being a main series game. It's just like sort of like a lost style that they have not revisited in a while.
There's no precedent for it so far, like I said with the Mario Run, and I guess Pokemon Go, you know, they all feel like their own thing. But I guess they could do that and still be like, yeah, it's a mobile game, so it's going to be different, and just people would have to expect something different.
I wonder if there would be backlash if they did something like that, though. If they put a major game out.
I think there will be backlash, maybe less, but I think even if they do any mobile game, there will be a subset of the fan base, even probably in the comments of this video, being like, no way.
I wonder what the Fire Emblem community thinks about the Fire Emblem game.
I've gotten a little bit of, I've read some, but I have no experience with it, where it's like that game is kind of monetized out the rear. Okay. And it's a little disappointing. That's why when we looked at that chart, it was off the charts. Same thing with Animal Crossing. For
a game like The Legend of Zelda, I would hope they do something more like Super Mario Run.
Yes.
Where it's free to play. You can play, say they put a game like A Link Between Worlds on this. Forget the logistics, but it's like, oh, you can play through the Eastern Palace for free.
That's why another reason why like Captain Toad kind of game came to mind, because it's like distinct levels.
Okay.
But
yeah. It's very easy to pick up and play for 3 minutes and put it down.
I mean, that's another crucial thing about a mobile game that you want.
Right.
Is, you know, you're playing this on the bus, on the subway, you know.
You don't want a 25-minute dungeon.
Yeah, or cutscenes. Yeah. Every couple of years, there are some games that like are starting to like scratch the surface of like people's top 10 game of the years and stuff like that. I feel like a really well like designed Zelda game that takes advantage of a mobile device like these games do might be the game to do it.
I kind of like the idea of doing like a major game, but I'm scared of it at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel it would, and like I feel that if they ended up doing that, there would be so much backlash where people would be like, maybe it comes out, it does well, whatever, and then a years later, like Nintendo fans are like, I don't want to play this on my phone. Like, why can't they port it to 3DS or the Switch or something?
Well, didn't they do? I think a Pokemon game came out last year that was also on Switch as well as phones. It's like all these blocky looking, cutesy, mobile looking Pokemon. Okay. And they did release it on both.
Maybe that could be something.
Maybe that could be a thing. Yeah. This has me thinking like, what even is a main series Zelda game? Because there's Triforce Heroes is allegedly part of the main series.
Oh no, that's a multiplayer game.
But like, we didn't include it on our definitive ranking, and a lot of people were like, why'd you include that? But then if they announce a game like that, people are like, why are they releasing this game?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
It's like, let's pick one. You know, it's some games can be canon but be spin-offs. You know,
So when it boils down to it, do you want a Zelda mobile game?
if it's like I described, like, which I think it would be, because I think Nintendo is good at designing games. I've played some really awesome mobile games this past year that were like pleasantly surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And so yes, I'm all for it.
Okay. I'm skeptical. It's one of those things, like, if it takes away from resources from a major game, I'd say no.
If it was like what I've heard about Fire Emblem, no. Or also I did play Animal Crossing, and it I got over it really quick because it kind of sucked the soul out of Animal Crossing a little bit too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I really don't want to have to pay in the game, in-game currency. Like, I would...
Yeah.
I don't even care if there's only 25 things to buy. I'd rather pay $30 for the game up front, and that's it.
Yeah,
or $40 or $50, whatever it is. I don't even care.
That would be unheard of for a mobile game, I feel like.
Yeah, it would be.
But I would totally buy into the Mario Run type monetization.
Yeah.
Because I did play a little bit of that, and it wasn't really a game that grabbed me, but I was like, I'm not mad at this, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I would totally play all of it if it was Zelda.
Oh, yeah. I would totally.
And by the end of it, you have paid a reasonable price for a full game.
Yeah. If they have, like, if there's a lot of stuff that's locked behind a paywall,
Yeah.
or individual things, that would be horrendous. I don't think they would do that, though.
So, yeah, what do you guys think? Do you want to see a mobile game or not? What do you think they should be making instead of a mobile game, if so, you know?
Or what kind of mobile game?
What kind of mobile game? Yeah. What are some like mobile games you've enjoyed like the past year? I feel like there were some good ones, so leave a comment if you have enjoyed any. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe. Allegedly, you're supposed to hit the notification bell. I saw that it'll actually notify you when we have a new video. Yeah, so do that. I heard it helps. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.